Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
And our house is currently a bomb site because we are packing for our month-long campervan road trip to the Shetland and Orkney Isles.
When we went away to Europe on our 6-week road trip, we got asked by quite a few people if we could have done a packing video. So we thought we'd do one for this month-long road trip to Scotland because people want to know what we would put in our small VW campervan.
Old habits do die hard, and we always do this for a trip because it's probably the only way that we can organise ourselves. The challenge of going to the Shetland and the Orkney Islands at this time of year is that even though it's summer, the average temperature is between 12 and 13 degrees, so it's not going to be really warm, and we are just fearing that we could get all the weathers. So how on earth do you pack for that? Well, we have got our specific walking gear, and that goes all the way up to our wet weather shells and also insulated jackets to keep us warm. And yet at the same time, I'm being really hopeful in the fact that I think we should be able to take shorts and t-shirts because you never know what the weather's going to be like. One of my big problems with packing is that every trip I go on, no matter how I try to minimise, I always seem to bring back stuff that I've never even touched. So you can see from my piles here that there's substantially less than Jackie's piles, but we'll see how we go. A few sets of long trousers, woolly hats and sun hats bizarrely, t-shirts, shorts, and then some mid-weight gear, so a couple of sweatshirts and a couple of shirts, and that's about it in terms of clothes.
Just adding to Richard's list of essentials that we pack, I haven't forgotten to take my favourite winter jumper because I've got a feeling it's going to be pretty cold up there sometimes. Okay, so what else apart from clothing do we pack? So first, obviously, is toiletry bags with all our shampoos and shower gels and things. I have actually remembered this time to take a hairbrush with me. It's not often that I do that. We do have a box of different books because we know that it's going to be a bit wet and wild and windy, so we need something to keep us entertained at night. And we have got quite a few walking guides as well, and Shetland and Orkney guides that we've bought. We take with us a box of all the different adapters and chargers that we might need. We've got pretty good at just having a van collection of them now, so we don't forget any essential ones. We always take an emergency toilet roll with us just in case we go to the public loos and they don't have any in there. Obviously we've got some shower towels and swimming towels and our swimming cozies because although it's going to be cold, we are looking for places to get in and have a bit of a wild swim. We do have a box of little goodies that we take with us that's really easily accessible in the van, and it has things like a tick remover because when we were in Arran we did succumb to those little critters and we had to delve them out of our skin, which was not pleasant. And it just has things like our suntan lotion in it, it has bug spray, it's got plasters, paracetamols, bit of an emergency first aid kit kind of thing in there. But yeah, we just keep that in the side of the van, really easily accessible. So when we went to Europe, this looked very different. We hardly took any fresh food or any food at all with us, mainly because you're not allowed to take a lot of things through, and the supermarkets are fantastic once you get into France. We have found the Scottish Islands a little bit different. We've been caught out on Harris before now, where we have gone with very little stuff with us, and the ship couldn't come in for 3 days because of a storm, and the shops were pretty barren, and we did almost run out of food at one point. We were in the middle of nowhere. So we are a little bit more prepared for this trip, and we have done a good food shop for a lot of the dry produce, and we've got our first week's worth of meals completely bought, apart from maybe some of the fresh produce that we're still hoping we can buy locally and source when we get there.
One of the things that we've learned over the years of having a van is that you have to be really organised with your cupboards, and the best solution that we've found is these plastic boxes that you can pick up pretty cheaply, and they are just a really nice simple solution to organising your cupboards. You've obviously got to make sure that the boxes fit in your cupboards, but then we allocate each box a different thing to look after. In this box we've got predominantly all our dried goods, our spices and our stocks, all of the stuff that would be in a kitchen cupboard at home, but inevitably when we were going in the van we would forget unless it's in there all the time. In this box there's a new development in the fact that we were, as Jackie said, caught out quite badly on one of our Scottish island trips before, where there was no food getting into the island because of storms. Now, you know, we're not thinking that's going to happen, but a top tip from someone was to try out, and it's completely unsponsored, Marks and Spencer's tinned curries. I've never had a tinned curry in my life before, but it's there as an emergency meal, and we've got some rice and some long-lasting naan bread, so we're not going to starve.
Over the years, we've perfected a little bit of a system on how to keep some of our fresh produce, and we have come up with a system where we keep all of our fruit and veg in these little bags, and we've got a hook that we just put them up in the van so that we can keep the air circulating and keep them nice and fresh. So that's ready to go.
Both Jackie and I are absolutely paranoid about bugs, mainly because we are both bug bait, and I am more of a bug bait than anyone else. So we have sourced these citronella candles, and how good's this? It was cheap as chips. I think it was $2.99 for a massive bucket candle, so hopefully that will keep the bugs away at night.
Something else we've started travelling with more recently is a Buzzel Plant. Keeps the van smelling really nice and fresh, and we are constantly cooking nice meals, so it just adds that little bit of extra zest to our dinners.
We fully intend when we're on the island to shop fresh every few days, and for that we need shopping bags. We did forget them when we went to France, so we got these amazing cloth ones when we were in France, and they just do the job.
We've definitely got more organised over the years, and we make sure that we travel with a good selection of things to help us keep the van clean and tidy. So we've got kitchen roll. Fab tip for my sister when she goes travelling is colour catchers. So when we do washing, I can put a mix load in and the clothes generally come out the colour that they should. And obviously we take some washing tablets with us because we'll probably do 2 or 3 loads of washing while we're away. Lots of bin bags, lots of little picnic zip bags, lots of sponges. We tend to go through them when we're cleaning the barbecue particularly, and wipes. But it's like a little storage box just to help us keep everything clean and tidy.
We travel with 2 of these waterproof crates that we store under the van when we're parked up. We don't put anything of value in there, but as you can see, it's a really valuable storage space.
I'm still an eternal optimist, and I'm always living in hope that we are going to get some sun when we're out there on the Shetlands. And I always put factor 30 on because I'm quite paranoid about keeping my skin protected, even though it's going to be really cloudy. And this is a game changer. We took it to Europe with us. We have bought some After Sun that has got some bug lotion in it as well. So hopefully at night, when the midges tend to come out in the evenings, we might have a little layer of protection from that.
In classic Jackie and Rich style, we were so busy packing up that we didn't actually go through any of our boot space and the things that we thought were really essential in there, and we thought that you might find that of use. So we've got 3 sections to our boot. The main traditional boot, we keep our electricity cables, our Kadak. We have a game of Viking sticks, which may be a little bit more of that later. We've got our water container in there for topping up the tank, and we have our fire pit in there because we're keeping fingers crossed that we can find some good beaches where we can take the fire pit down and have a beachside fire. We have all our bedding contained within the Duvet mattress, so we just make our bed and then we roll it up. And then when we put our rock and roll bed out, the whole bed just rolls out and it's all ready for us to go to sleep in. We've got 2 remaining cupboards. We'll come to the top one in a minute. This bottom cupboard is a really strange one because it goes long and thin down the side of the van. So we have our awning in there, we have our screen cover, and we have 2 chairs in there, and it's about everything that will fit in because it is very, very long and thin and a really odd shape. Our clothes cupboard is probably the most disorganised space that we have, and we were kicking ourselves because we were going to ask Jackie's mum to use some of her packing cubes just to see if that would make a difference, because one or two people on YouTube have already tipped us off that that's a really good idea, and it's something that we definitely need to invest in because it's a bit of a bomb site. We sort of know where our clothes are in certain corners, but as the trip goes on, it just gets more and more messy.
So when you saw everything that was laid out on our kitchen table, it looked like there was just a whole ton of stuff, but it does all fit quite neatly into our little kitchen area. So we have got a cupboard in here that we keep all our pots and pans and tea towels, but it's actually got all our electrics in there as well, so we can't store a huge amount in there. In the bottom cupboard, we store just bottles, so we've kept fruit juice, we keep our flasks in there, just anything that needs to be stored upright and out of the way. And then this big cupboard, we just keep store cupboard food, and we just have a couple of crates that fit perfectly in the bottom that we store tins and things in, and then just lots of bread and things in the top cupboard, so it does fit in quite nicely. So the last cupboard here is where we keep all of our plates and cutlery, and another couple of boxes just full of snacks and things that we might need food wise. Cups and coffee pots go in there as well. And then just behind here we keep our handy little coffee station that's got everything that we need to just reach in the morning and make the perfect cup of coffee. A small bonus when we had the van converted is that we had this little shelf put in here. Everyone needs a place where you can just dump little bits of junk that you need all of the time, and it's handy to get to. So most things like matches and bin bags and wipes and kitchen roll, we just keep it all up there, out of the way, but really easy to get to. The fruit and veg bags that you saw us filling in the kitchen all just hang nicely here when we're parked up for the night, just out of the way, and it just makes sure that air gets to the fruit and veg and it keeps it a little bit longer. A couple of other van essentials that we take with us. We always travel with a speaker because a lot of the time we're in quite remote places and we can just have music as much as we want, and obviously a kettle that stays in the van all of the time. But you need to come inside because this is the best part of our summer camping, where we can get the roof up and we have a shelf up there that we can just shove all of the other junk that's in this van out of the way. So hopefully between the packing video from our little cottage and a little van tour while we're in situ in the Shetland Islands, you'll get an idea of what we take with us. In reality, if we actually forget anything, the world won't end. We will either have to live without it, or hopefully we could source it somewhere on the island.
So that's it from us. In our next video, we will take you through the 48-hour journey north to get to the Shetland Islands, but we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.